Today we will see some categories of managerial controls. As you know, we have a control. Control is nothing but a policy, procedure, practices, organization structure where all desirable activities are allowed so that we can provide reasonable assurance to the organizational objectives. Undesirable events can be prevented, detected and corrected. Basically, controls can be divided into various categories. That is, based on objectives of control, based on nature of information system resources, based on audit functionalities. We have completed based on objectives of controls. Based on objectives, we can have three categories of controls. Number one is preventive control, detective control, corrective control. Preventive controls are the control elements that always tries to prevent an error, omission or malicious act occurring. Second category, detective control. Detective controls are designed to detect an error or omission or malicious act occurred and report the occurrences. Corrective controls are designed to correct an error, omission or malicious activity or exceptions that are raised by detective controls. And then based on nature of information system resources, we can classify the controls into based on nature of information system resources, we can classify the controls into environment controls, logical access controls, physical access controls. That is, in the case of nature, we can have environment controls. Environmental controls can be divided into four categories: fire damage, water damage, pollution damage, power spikes. Also called as power spikes, also called as electrical exposures. And then physical access control. Physical access controls are the control elements that are going to safeguard the physical assets of the organization. Physical access controls are established in three levels. Number one is locks and doors, physical identification medium, and then logging. Locks and doors can be divided into three categories: cipher locks, electronic door locks, bolting door locks. Identification medium can be defined in the terms of personal identification number, PIN pin, plastic cards, identification badges. Next one is logging. Logging may be performed either manually or it may be in the form of electronic logging. Other category of physical access elements may include video cameras, security guards, deadman doors, locking the terminal elements, perimeter fencing, bonded personnel, and so forth. Next one. There we have one concept need to be discussed, that is logical access control. Based on the functionality, audit functionality, we can classify the controls into two groups. Number one, managerial controls, application controls. Application controls can be divided into 7 categories. Number one, boundary control, input control, process control, processor control, database control, output control, data communication control. Like that. Managerial controls, how information system can be built, operated, maintained in an organization in a day-to-day operational activity is said to be managerial control. Managerial controls can be divided into 7 categories. Top management and system development management control, system development management control, programming management control, data resource management control, quality assurance management control, security management control, finally operations management control. Already we have completed top management, POLC, planning, organizing, leading, controlling, system development, programming management, data resource management, and then quality assurance. Still we need to complete 2 parts there. If you complete these 2, then we move on to the next part called logical access control. Yes, listen. Explain security management controls in managerial controls. Before going to the topic, first we should understand what is security. Security is nothing but protecting the data from unauthorized access, safeguarding of data or information or the resources from unauthorized activities is said to be security. Here there exist many threats. A threat is nothing but malicious activity that always tries to damage or disclose or perform illegal activity on the data, illicit actions on the data. Security always ensures safeguarding of organizational assets. Security, strong security mechanisms always prevents threats. Here we have various resources within the organization. Hardware is a resource, software is a resource, computer is a resource, employee is a resource, data is a resource. All these elements can be protected by some form of security mechanism. Information security administrators are responsible for ensuring that the information system assets, that is employees, personnel, hardware, physical components, equipment, facilities, documentation, supplies or data, application software, system software are secure. How can you say that it is secure? We are going to provide a mechanism to protect from unauthorized access. See, assets are always secure when the expected losses will occur over some time and they are at an acceptable level. Threat may be occurred, attack may be executed. For example, I have a piece of information that always consistent, only authorized person can modify the data. For example, if the same data is exposed to outside people, that may not create any kind of threat. We are going to put a constraint that unauthorized people are not supposed to modify the data. That is security. Read accessibility will be provided, but not write access. The controls classification based on nature of information system resources, that is environmental controls, physical access controls, logical access controls, all security measures against possible threats. Whatever activity it is, it may be physical, logical or environment. However, despite the controls on place, there could be a possibility that a control might fail. That's why you have to provide proper security, sufficient amount of protection to the data or information system assets. Sometimes there is a possibility called disaster. if an event or incident that may not created by the human being, but it causes maximum damage to the functioning of the organization. Tsunami, tornadoes, floods, earthquakes, fire accidents, and so forth. On the act of God, simply we can say on the act of God. Disasters are the events or incidents that are critical that it has to hit the business continuity of an entity in an irreversible manner. That is, the time takes to recovery from the situation is large time taking process. It is very difficult for us to roll back to the normal situation, that is called that is in irreversible manner. Even though there is a possibility, but the impact is very high. When disaster occurs, it must be possible to recover the operation and mitigation of losses using last resort controls such as disaster recovery planning. If it is a structural element in the terms of physical, that is in the form of insurance. Disaster recovery plan always try to provide you a mechanism of continuity of the business functionality. Such a component is said to be business continuity planning. Even though there exists a criticality in the terms of operations, still we need to provide some mechanism. We need to provide some mechanism to continue the critical operations of the organization or very key operations of the organization. A comprehensive or a complete DRP consists of 4 parts: E, B, R, T, E, B, R, T. Whenever there exists a disaster or an event or incident, we are going to execute emergency plan. Getting the copy of the element is said to be backup plan. Whenever there exists a failure, we are going to restore the system, called a recovery of a system, called a recovery plan. Is it emergency, backup and recovery plans are executing properly or not is verified by test plan. So, an emergency plan, backup plan, recovery plan and test plan. Always plan lays down the policies, guidelines, procedures for all of the information system personnel. In order to structural damages, we need to have insurance. Adequate insurance must be able to replace the information system assets and to cover the extra cost associated with normal or restoring, recovering normal operations. The question may be asked, what are various categories of plans that are provided by disaster recovery? That is emergency plan, backup plan, recovery plan and test plan. Next one is business continuity planning control. These controls are related to having an operational and tested IT continuity plan, which is in line with the overall business continuity plan. It ensures that minimum impact on the business in the event of major disruption, disaster. See, interrupt is separate, destruction is separate, disaster is separate. For example, a temporary power failure off and on is an interrupt. It is not a disaster. Earthquake, lightning is a disaster. Tsunami, it's a disaster. So, even though we have a disaster, still disaster activity, you need to prepare a plan for continuity of critical business operations, that is said to be business continuity plan. Question number 26. What are the operations management and explain the functions? Subheadings are very important. See, operations management, day-to-day running of hardware, software, network, including personnel. Operations management is responsible for daily running of hardware and software facilities. It typically performs the control over the functions. Number one is computer operations. See, if you consider any organization, every organization allows a mechanism called day-to-day transactional activities, operational activities. Each and every operation is executed with the help of computers and related technology. So, we are introducing a concept called automation. That's why instead of manual work, what is manual? Human involvement is very high. Manual operations are completely eliminated. Now, we are utilizing a concept. What is that? Automation. Automation is nothing but computerization. Controls over the computer operations govern the activities that directly support day-to-day execution of either test or production system on the hardware or software platforms available. Network operations. See, in the case of network, if you want to construct a network, you require computers called hosts, servers, network connectivity, channels, devices, monitoring, controlling. It includes proper functioning of network operations and monitoring the performance of the network communication channels. What is communication channel? It carries the data from one place to another place is said to be communication channel. Network devices and network programs and files. Data, preparation and entry. For any system, we need to take up the data from source documents. You have to prepare the source document, you have to convert the data into required format. Irrespective of whether the data is obtained indirectly from the source documents or directly from the customer, the data should be entered with the speed and accuracy by keyboard operators. Because I told you in the case of input controls also, accuracy and completeness is very important part of input control. That's why careful control must be exercised on the data entry where human involvement exists. Production control. In the case of production control, we are going to have the major functionalities like receipt and dispatch of input and output, job scheduling. What is job scheduling? Which one is executed first is determined by job scheduling. Which one is executed first? And management of service level agreement with the users, transfer of pricing or charge out control, acquisition of computer consumables and so forth. File library. Entire data storage in a machine readable format in one location is said to be file library. It includes the management of organizations' machine readable storage media like magnetic tape, cassettes or cartridges and also optical discs such as CD. Nowadays, these are modified into the cloud computing or these are modified to have a library in the terms of server storage. Documentation and program library. Documentation. Librarians ensures that documentation is stored securely and we are allowing only authorized persons to gain access to the documentation. The documentation is up to date, adequate, backup exists for documentation. Whenever there exists a problem, automatically we are going to restore it from the backup. Help desk or technical functionality or a technical support. These people assist the end users in problem resolution with respect to the production system. Capacity planning and performance monitoring. Regular performance monitoring is very important, that the capacity planning where the resource deficiencies must be identified well in time so that they can be made available when they are needed. Which means that if you plan your capacity, if you monitor the performance, you can have a clear idea resource utilization, so that you can assign the resources whenever need arises without exempting the availability factor. What is availability? Whenever need arises, you need to provide accessibility of data is said to be availability. Management of outsourced operations. This has the responsibility for carrying out day-to-day monitoring of outsourcing contract. Very simple. How all the operations executed, that is day-to-day operations are executed with the help of computer operations, network management, help desk, preparation and everything including outsourcing is determined by operations management control. What is that? Operations management control. Listen carefully. For example, if they ask you a question called application control, what is meant by application control? Explain. I think these are from question number 27 to 40 questions, 26 to 40. But the given question is only for 4 marks. What to do? You have to write the definition of application controls and then boundary control, 1 sentence, input control, process control, processor control, output control, database control, data communication control. If the question is explain controls associated with managerial, at the time you have to write the total managerial controls in a single, each control limit restricted to 1 point. That is top management control, system development management control, program management control, data resource management control, quality assurance management control, security management control, operations management control. These are the controls that are based on audit functionalities or audit functions. I think the half of the chapter covered by these 2 elements. Totally we have 40 questions, but half of the questions, 20 to 40, all these elements are come under controls that are related with managerial controls and also application controls. Still, we need to complete another component that is called as logical access controls. Very easy and interesting topic, logical access control. We know that based on nature of information system resources, we can classify the controls into environment controls, physical access controls, last one logical access control. We need to complete that particular part, that is from question number 11. What are logical access controls? See, I told you, pen drive is a physical asset, but that contains logical information, logical data. If you are going to keep your system from unauthorized persons by using locking mechanism or posting a security guard, is a physical access mechanism. Nowadays, usage of internet increases, number of attacks are also increasing. Without regard to the location of a person, location of a device and the type of software they are using. Logical controls related to logical access of information system resources such as operating systems, application software boundary controls, networking controls, access to the database objects, encryption controls, and so forth. Database is a physical storage within the magnetic disk, but it contains a logical data, which we cannot see. Logical access controls are implemented to ensure that access to the system, data, and programs is restricted to authorized users in order to safeguard the information against unauthorized usage, disclosure, or modifications or damage. So, in order to safeguard our information from unauthorized access, unauthorized people, unauthorized disclosure, we are going to utilize a technique what you call logical access control mechanism. What is that? Logical access control mechanism. All are same. Every system must provide you privacy or confidentiality, integrity, authentication, authorization, identification in order to monitor the activities in the terms of intrusion detection. The key factors considered in designing logical access controls includes confidentiality, which means that secrecy or privacy, authentication, authorization for monitoring standards, intrusion testing and reporting. I told you who is intruder. Without having proper permission from the user, some unauthorized person penetrate into the system in order to perform misbehaving. That is said to be intruder. Logical access controls are system-based mechanisms used to designate who or what is to have access to a specific system resource and the type of transactions and the functions that are permitted. That means who is allowed to access the data, who is allowed to perform the operations on the data, when these operations are going to be executed, each and every operation can be handled by a control mechanism, what you call logical access control. Just observe, I think question number 11, I think so. Question number 11, we have logical access control, that is the definition. In this case, we have various categories of technical exposures. Before that, I am going to explain you some elements in the terms of technical exposure. See, we have various categories of technical exposures that may be in the terms of unauthorized intrusion, viruses, worms, Trojan horse, trapdoor, logic bomb, time bomb, malware, spyware, eavesdropping, and so forth. Controls relating to logical access, controls relating to logical access to the information resources such as data and programs is assigned to only authorized people, restricted. In order to safeguard the information against unauthorized use, disclosure or modifications, damage or loss to the data. We have various categories of technical exposures. Whether it is there or not in the consideration, you need to understand virus. A virus is nothing but vital, very important, vital information resources underseas. Virus is nothing but vital information resources underseas. Generally, a virus is illicit program, unauthorized program, destructive program that attaches itself to authorized program and penetrate into the system to attach even to the operating system. It is an illicit program. What is illicit? Unauthorized. A virus is a destructive program that attaches itself to the legitimate programs. What is legitimate? Legitimate is nothing but authorized program to penetrate into the operating system. Thus, whenever operating system opens any program, the virus is going to be attached. Virus is going to be attached. Whereas worm is concerned, virus is different, worm is different. Worm is nothing but, it is a self-replicating program. I think that is not there, that is there in your textbook. Worm is nothing but a self-replicating program. It do not attached with other program, that itself creates copies. In the case of Robo movie, a robo can create number of robos by using worm. At the time of destruction, worm destructing, you can observe the monitor within the bus. There exists worm destructing. Worm is nothing but replications, copies. Worm does not require host program like a Trojan or some other component to relocate itself. Worm program copies itself into another machine on a communication network. Worms are not attached. These are individual or standalone programs. They can be detected easily in comparison with Trojans or a computer viruses. See, whenever you face a problem, number of new folders are created. Recycler, desktop.ini, folder.htt. All these elements are come under worms. What is that? Worms. The difference between virus and worm. Worm is nothing but a self-replicating program. It do not require any other program to attach. That itself creates number of copies. Next one is data diddling. Cheating is said to be diddle. It involves changing of data before or they are entered into the system. Instead of your examination paper, someone replaced with some other paper. Instead of your file, someone replaced your file with some other file. Limited technical knowledge is required to data diddle, and the worst part is that it occurs before the computer security can protect the data. So, we are not under security perimeter. You are placing a file, for example, an important file is kept in one area. At that time, there is no security control mechanism. Someone who is going to modify your file with some other file. For this, limited technical knowledge is needed. Expertise is not needed in order to data diddle. Next one is a bomb. A bomb is nothing but it is a computer related threat. Bombs can be divided into two categories. Number one is logic bomb, second one is a time bomb. See, in the case of softwares, installations or renewal process, whenever the license agreement expires, immediately it displays a message, please renewal or acquire the license key. Please upgrade to original. Whenever there exists a particular time, that is going to be exploited, that is said to be logic bomb or time bomb. If it is based on a particular logic, if it is meat, logic, that is a logic bomb. If it is a time, that is time bomb. Bomb is a piece of bad code intentionally, deliberately planted by insider or supplier of a program. An event that may be a logical, calls, triggers, executes, automatically runs, automatically fires. Triggering is nothing but automatically executing. A bomb or time based. The bombs exploit when the conditions of exposing get fulfilled, causing the damage immediately. These programs cannot infect other programs like viruses. Next one is a Christmas card. Before going to the Christmas card, we should know what is Trojan. A Trojan horse. This is a wooden horse given to king in a kingdom. This is an authorized program within his kingdom. But within the authorized program, internally, we have some other unauthorized elements. They used to perform destructive operation. It is said to be a Trojan horse. I am an authorized person. Behind some unauthorized entity enters into your system, is said to be a Trojan horse. These are malicious, harmful programs that are hidden under any authorized program. A Trojan horse is illicit coding contained in a legitimate program. What is legitimate? Authorized program. Illegitimate, unauthorized coding causes illegitimate action. One of such example is a Christmas card. One of such example is a Christmas card which was found in the case of IBM. When you type a word called Christmas, immediately it draws the Christmas tree as you expected. At the same time, the same copies will be transmitted to all other people who are connected with the network. Every person get the same copy of information, but they cannot close the application. They cannot save their half-finished work. Simply, it requires restarting of a computer. Thus, existing data is going to be lost. A well-known example of a Trojan, and it was detected on internal emails of IBM system. That is, on typing the word called Christmas, it will draw the Christmas tree as expected. It will draw the Christmas tree as expected. But in addition, it will send the copies of similar output to all other users connected to the network. At that time, they cannot save their work directly. They have to switch off the computer or restart the computer. Next one is rounding down techniques. It refers to rounding down of small fraction of denominations, and transferring these small fractions into authorized account. If it is accessed by authorized person, no problem at all. If it is kept in an unauthorized person, it leads to failure. As the amount is small, it gets rarely noticed. For example, if the amount is 27 rupee 87 paisa, that will be 29 rupee 87 paisa will be converted into 30 rupees. We cannot identify those elements. Next one is salami technique. Slicing of small amounts of money from the computerized transaction or account. There exists a difference between salami technique and rounding down technique. That is, last few digits are rounded off here. For example, in a rounding down technique, 21,23,456 rupee 39 paisa will become 21,23,456 rupee 35 paisa. Whereas in the case of Salami Technique, 21,23,456 rupee 39 paisa will be converted into 30 paisa or directly 21,23,456 rupees depending upon the calculation. Even though this information is not there, still it is important. So if you have the amount 26 rupees 75 paisa or 79 paisa will be converted into 75. It may be 70 or 29 rupees, that is said to be Salami Technique. Next one is trapdoor. Generally, trapdoors are established, created by the developer in order to perform the modifications within the program or within the project. If they want to go through a straight, they need to face all categories of security parameters. It is a time-taking process. In order to avoid this, a separate door, the separate entry will be created. Such entry is said to be a trapdoor. If the trapdoor is accessible to unauthorized people, by using that trapdoor, they may be entered into your system and perform the operational activities. Permits insertion of specific logic such as program interrupt that permit a review of data. They also permit the insertion of unauthorized logic. That is, if it is used by the authorized people, no problem at all. Otherwise, it causes a mechanism called unauthorized party. Next one is spoofing. Someone who acts like other person is said to be a spoofing attack. That means spoofing attack involves forging someone's source address. You are not the original, but you look like original. One machine is used to impersonate to the other in spoofing technique. Spoofing occurs only after a particular machine has been identified as vulnerable. What is vulnerable? The possibility of occurrence of a threat is said to be vulnerability. Let us see in your material. Question number 12, important question. Explain the technical exposures in logical access. Technical exposures include unauthorized implementation or modification of data and software, or a disclosure of data, damage of data, spying of data, or anything. Technical exposures includes data diddling. I told you, changing the data before or after it is entered into the system. Bomb. Bomb is a piece of program code that may be generated either time-based or logic-based. Christmas card. A well-known example of a Trojan horse is said to be Christmas card. Whenever you type, it may create it. At the same time, it is going to be spread over the communication network. All systems are going to be restarted. Worm. Worm itself creates copies or replicas of data. So, worm is going to consume the total bandwidth of a network. Even internet connectivity is also not available. It is not permitted. Worms are highly dangerous when compared with the virus. Rounding down small fraction of elements. Salami technique, slicing of amounts of money from the computerized or accounting operations. Trapdoors, it is basically for allowing the people to insertion of a specific logic. For example, it is known to unauthorized party, they may perform misusing. Spoofing, forging of someone's activity is said to be spoofing attack. What is that? Spoofing attack. Next one is I will tell you asynchronous attacks later. Just we start with question number 14. Who are logical access violators and explain their types? Who violates logical access? Basically employees. Employees may be current employees, outsourcing employees, former employees, users of a system, contractor, interested outside partners. Logical access violations, that is the people who exploit the physical exposures, although skills need to exploit the logical exposures are more technical and complex. Physical access violations are somewhat different from logical access violations. If you want to perform the logical access violation, they require some technical knowledge, expertise, experience. Here we have different categories of logical access violators. Number one is hackers. Hackers' intention is to acquire the activity that is going on secretly in the system. They always or continuously work with the systems or the network in order to perform harmful activity. There are two categories of hacking. One is he always tries to prove himself as number one, called ethical hacking. He is not going to do any bad activity. Unethical, his intention is a criminal motive. He always try to acquire or modify, delete, perform malicious operations on the data system. That is called as unethical. Unethical hackers are called crackers. Hackers try their best to overcome, to break the restrictions, barriers, fencing to prove their ability. Ethical hackers most likely never try to misuse the computer intentionally. Next one. Employees. Employees may be authorized or unauthorized. Employees. Former employee is an unauthorized person. Employee under suspension. Employee under termination. Employee under what you call resigned. Information system personnel. Information system personnel have easiest access to the computerized information since they come across the information while discharging their duties. Segregation of duty, important point. What is segregation? Separation of duty is said to be segregation of duties. Separation of duties is said to be segregation of duties. No single functionality is assigned to multiple number of people. A functionality can be divided into multiple number of partitions or the portions. Each part will be allocated for one person, so that there exists no collision at all. Individual. Supervision helps to reduce the logical access violations. Former employees, you should be more cautious about the former employees because they already experienced the usage of a system and they already knew that high level passwords. That's why whenever employee is retired or relieved, you have to change all high level passwords. Former employees should be cautious. That means you need to be cautious of former employees who have left the organization in unfavorable terms with some damage or termination or taking some actions on them. Their motive is criminal activity. Those people are come under disgusted employees, dissatisfied employees. End users, users of a system. Generally, end users consist of interested or educated outsiders, competitors, foreigners, organized criminals, crackers. I told you, unethical hacking is said to be cracking. Part-time and temporary personnel, vendors, consultant, accidental ignorance, violations, ignorant, accidental, ignorant violations done unknowingly by end user. I told you threat may be executed either intentionally or accidentally. Someone who outrightly wants to damage my data in a pen drive, it is intentional. When he inserted my pen drive onto his PC, due to lack of earth connection, the pen drive is unable to work. If you connect the same pen drive to another computer, still the same position. This is accidental. We cannot predict. Who are logical access violators? Number one is hackers, employees, information system personnel, former employees, end users, and so forth. All these people are come under various categories of, and then we will see question number 19. It is a secret question. What kind of logical controls are to be put in the place when mobile computing is adopted by the organization? Even though there is no need, still we need to discuss. What is mobile computing? Nowadays, any kind of activity is executed in the terms of portable handheld devices. Your smartphone, personal digital assistant, tablet, iPad, ultra mobile PC, and so forth. Nowadays, all organizations uses computer or computing facility is not restricted to a certain data centers alone, because it is a distributed in nature. You can buy or sell a product even in the terms of moving state, that is called as a mobility. Ease of access on the move provides the efficiency and results in additional responsibility on the management to maintain information security. Portable devices always exposed to various categories of risk. Theft, easy to copy the data from them. Relocation. So, some kind of threats, injection of some threats or something. Theft of data carried on the disk drives of portable computers is a high risk factor. Both physical and logical access to these systems are critical. Even though we have mobility is nothing but partition, a small part. You can carry to anywhere is said to be mobility. Information is to be encrypted and access identification such as fingerprints, iris, smart cards are necessary security features. But physical theft is common. So nowadays we have various categories of trackers in order to identify where your mobile device is located, who uses that device, to whom they are communicated. For that we are using IMEI number, and trackers are also available for security reasons. Still, we need to complete question number 13, asynchronous attacks, important point, 15, 16, 17 and 18. If we complete all these 4 or 5 questions, we can have the total chapter completed. Now, let us just always progressively track your activity. I told you we are under one unit. I think that is unit number 3, but I can say first unit. First unit consists of 4 chapters. Components of information system, data on DBMS, information system risk and controls, information system auditing. I require 1 hour to complete information system risk and controls. And then we require another 8 hours to complete IS audit. These 4 chapters are combined together to form one unit, that's it. So we started with components of information system, data on DBMS, and then IS risks and controls, right? Okay, we have completed introduction to controls, classification, this is over. Based on objectives of controls, we have preventive, detective, corrective. Audit functions, we have completed managerial and application. Again, application controls can be divided into boundary, input, process, output, database, data communication. Managerial, top management, system development management, program management, quality assurance, data resource management, security management, operations management. And then we have completed environment control, physical access control. In this session, we have completed another parts related with logical access. What is meant by logical access control? Explain various technical exposures. Virus, worm, data diddle, Christmas card, Trojan horse, trapdoor, logic bomb, time bomb, rounding down technique, salami technique, spoofing technique. Who causes logical access violations? Current employees, former employees, hackers, crackers, end users, the contractors or outside personnel, and so forth. And nowadays, security of devices are very important. That is, physical security will be provided, but mobility means anywhere it is possible to carry to anywhere. Nowadays, we have pocket or a portable hard disk are available, portable storage devices are available. That's why you should be very careful in the case of data security. Both physical and logical access control must be applied on the data mobile based data storages or devices. Still, we need to complete operating system controls, network management controls, user access management controls. So this is the information related to control and elements associated with the control. We need to complete question number 13, asynchronous attacks, question number 15, user access management and responsibilities, question number 16, network management controls, operating system access controls, application monitoring controls. That is also a C grade question. I require around 30 minutes to complete these, or 30 minutes or 1 hour to complete, and also for revision I require another 20 minutes. Okay, that's all for today. This is the information related to some part of managerial control called security management control. There we have discussed BCP and DRP, business continuity planning, disaster recovery planning, types of disaster recovery plans, emergency plan, backup plan, recovery plan, test plan, operations management control, and then logical access control, technical exposures, and limitations on mobile elements. That's all for today. Meet you tomorrow. Thank you.